Hey guys, Squishing here, and today I actually have a little video about spots that nobody actually goes to for some reason. And it's kind of odd because these spots are actually, some of them are actually pretty useful. So I'm gonna show them to you right in a second. And here we go. Okay, so right now we have actually this spot back here, which for some reason nobody uses. Well, when I first played, everybody used it, but I guess for some reason they just don't want to use it now. But like you could kind of just cover this area right here with the, well, if you have like a pistol and stuff, and I mean if you go over here too, up here, you could just see you guys can cover this entire area, basically like that right there, the rope line. I don't know what to call it. And then like this little building right there, and the little areas over there in the forest. Also little mud slides down there. They're just it's pretty useful area, but for some reason people just don't use them. I'm surprised nobody even places a sniper there or anything. But yeah, you can pretty much cover that entire area back there. And on to our next area. But our next area is actually going to be this little rope line right here, little rope swing thing. Because for some reason just nobody uses it, and it's actually pretty useful for if you wanted to, just jump on somebody. At least that's what I say. But yeah, just people don't really use it, and it's really useful. It's pretty useful. It's because people only use it just to go over there or just the opposite direction, but they never really use it to tackle anybody or anything. So it's not that useful for some people, I guess. The next area is actually this little water thing. I forgot what they're called. But it's not really an area, more like just a way to get somewhere, but people still don't use it for some reason. And you could just like get up here, go over here. Some people camp up here, but it's almost rare, but not really. And you could just kill people from there. Also got the little middle area that you came through probably, and just right here on this side. And yeah, that's almost pretty much it. And I don't know why, but some people actually don't use this little area inside the building either sometimes, but like it's pretty useful. And I don't know. Next up, I'm actually going to show you a little bit of tricks that you can do whenever, let's say, an enemy's chasing after you, like that type of scenario. So let's just say like an enemy's chasing after you right now, and like you're just going over here, they're shooting at you. You just drop down actually right here, and if you actually can be pretty good at rope swinging, you just go over here if they're following you. Try your best to do that, whatever I just did. And then you can just swing up and go up there. And you can go up here if you want, or just if you want to swing to another rope. It doesn't really matter, as long as you get away and live. But then, like, you probably go back and reverse what you just did. And, just try to survive, otherwise you obviously know enemies are gonna kill you. Right now I'm doing pretty bad at trying to even get up. But yeah, it's you just have to be creative in the way that you rope swing and do other things. Like how I almost made that and now I have to redo it. But yeah, just be creative in the way you rope swing. And I died. But yeah, guys, just be creative in the way you rope swing, because it'll help you out in lots of scenarios. Okay, so our next map is actually going to be prison. And I know the map literally just came out, but there are actually still a lot of places that people don't really go. The first place is actually through the tunnel to my right over here, as you can see. People don't really like to use it. I don't know why. It's just weird that people don't like to use it. I mean, it's in a sliding area. There's no point in going down it. You can go through the door over there. But like, it can still help you in some cases. Like, let's say there's a couple of enemies behind you, but let's say they're in the cover, they can't actually see you, technically, because you're just going down, like, there's a little slope down there, so they really just can't see you. It's gonna be hard for them to probably even get a headshot on you if they're using a sniper like me. And not only that, but enemies, if you go out, they can't really see you either. Only the tower over there can see you, as you can see. Like, just look. Not really anybody can see you besides the tower. And yeah, not unless, well, you go straight ahead, then, well, you might get shot. But yeah, it's just confusing how people don't like to use that area. The next area is actually just a little the well right here. Nobody actually goes to it, and it surprises me because the well is actually, it's a good area for just getting enemies. Let's say just go up here and you can just hang on to that well right there and you shoot enemies down if they're right there. It's basically like a little flank, if you call it, if you want to call it that, even though that's what it is. You just flank enemies from there, and like just look at all the open space you can just flank enemies. But yeah, it's a pretty useful area. You could get to people from the roof right there, the tower, the building right here, which is actually the next spot we're going to go to, is this little building right here. Nobody likes to use it. I understand how nobody likes to go on top of it because of the tower and everything else, but you can still cover a lot of ground from there. I mean, you got that little building right there, and then you got the tower probably a little bit behind the building, and the other rope swings, and that, yeah, it's basically got a whole bunch of area, but nobody just likes to use it. You even got the well right there just in case, you know, what I was talking about. Just make sure you don't die. But the next area is actually this little building up right here, actually. You see me getting a little bit creative going on that rope right there. But it's weird because this little area just, it has a whole bunch of ground that you can cover. The little tower right there, the right, the left, most of the ropes, and just basically everywhere. You can cover every single piece of ground. And it's just funny that nobody likes to use it. It's weird. I guess they just don't come to think of areas that they can use or not. Maybe they just think that somebody's gonna kill them, but you can, as you can see, you could just slide down there for a little bit of an escape. And yeah, you can also, like, as if you want, you can use the ropes as I'm doing here, and just to escape, or you can go down that little hole right there. But I kind of don't like that hole. I don't know why. But you could just kill enemies from the tower right there, as you can see. Just go on a rope. If you want to escape, you can probably flee by going onto the other ropes, obviously. But yeah, it's a pretty good spot, unless, well, you don't have a silencer possibly. Next area is actually this little thing right here. Look, it's not really an area, more like just a little bit being more creative on where you want to go for rope swinging. As you can see, you can just cover a lot of ground from here. You can get behind some of the rocks. You just have to be a little creative about this. And it surprises me because the players that played The Last of Us, some of them, they don't really know how to play the game, and I was a player of The Last of Us myself. But like, it's confusing because it gets really confusing on the controls. Sometimes you have to press X in order to switch, and yeah. The next area is actually this little area right here, and there's another area on the other side. But you can just shoot enemies from that little ledge. If you have a silencer, it'll be even better. But yeah, and just go up here if you see an enemy at least, and grab them down, just pull them down, take them with you. Then if you keep going up more levels, you can cover more ground. Just make sure you don't fall and die, just down there. But yeah, and if you want, you can, like, if you want to escape, maybe go on the rope. But I highly think that you will die because, well, lots of people will shoot you, obviously. But yeah. And then you could go through there just like how I said earlier, but they're really just escape routes sometimes, for especially for ropes. You really do just have to be creative about your rope swinging abilities, because they're not really limited. There are lots of things that you can do. So yeah, and as you can see, like, you can just jump on basically anybody from there. Yeah, it's pretty neat. And well, onto, well, the back area actually. which is where we will go right now. So some people, they don't actually like to go in the back for some reason. It's most likely that you'll find a fight in the front, but it's really abandoned in the back actually. Now, unless you're playing Command or a different game mode, of course, or at least Bounty. But this little tower right here, it holds like 3 opportunities for you to basically kill people. Like right here, as you can see from the left, and then right here in the right, and you can even go farther to the right here. And it just covers a lot of ground in the little area. But the weird thing is everybody, if they are going to the back, oh yeah, but this is a little escape area that you can go to. But everybody, if they are going to the back, they'll either go to the courtyard, or they will just go in this little area right here. And it's just weird. But also back here, in these little areas, nobody really goes to. I guess they just think there's no use to them. And there's a lot of opportunities that you can make from these little areas this here. Instead of just going into small areas like these, there's lots of flanking opportunities, but people usually do really like straight flanks instead of far flanks. It doesn't really help out your team as much sometimes. But yeah, pretty much. On with the next map. Okay, so our next map will actually be what, I forgot what that map was called. I think it was Sunken Ruins. I forgot. I don't really care about the map name. But yeah, it is Sunken Ruins. But in Sunken Ruins, there are actually lots of spots that people don't go to. Like this right here, it's a spot where you can obviously camp and snipe, but it covers a lot of ground. It just doesn't cover you. But yeah, you can just go to people from the waterfall that are trying to get treasure. Go to the people back here, and also back there, which is another camping spot that people go to rarely. And also back there, you can just cover some of that area right there, just as long as you have a silencer so nobody kills you. And there's an escape route right here, which you can clearly see I'm slowly going down. And yeah, you can cover lots of ground from that area. And the next area is actually right here. This little hole, as you can see. People do use it as some sort of escape route, but it's not really used for anything, basically. And there's another one on the other side that you can also get, but it's basically just an escape route. That's the only thing that this thing is really used for. But people don't use it as a flanking opportunity. They don't use it as anything, just an escape route. And you can use this as so many opportunities to help your team go to any objective, basically. And you can cover this ground over here. But yeah, that area is just, it's okay to use. People don't really like to use it though. The next area, I don't think anybody even notices, and it's actually right down here. The little cave that's underwater, nobody actually goes to. I'm surprised nobody figured this out. I actually learned this from one guy that figured it out right when we were playing the game. And I was like, it's a weird area to go to. But it's like, it's really weird because you can just go through here and nobody notices that area to your right. They only go straight over here. Not only that, but like just this side too, people don't really use. But not only that, but people don't actually notice the back area at all anyway. They don't really go back here. I guess people probably think it's like a death barrier area or something. I really don't know. Or they just don't think it's useful. But it could help you with a lot of flanking opportunities, especially if you just go under that water the entire time. I mean, I'm pretty sure you can hold your breath for 27 seconds. The next area is actually back here, this little camping area right here if you would like to camp. And you can basically cover just that entire building and some of the next building and the area that you're in. But yeah, you can just kind of cover that. And the weird thing though is this little piece of cover that I'm right next to. You see that? I have no clue what it's used for. I seriously don't. Yes, it's a piece of cover. It's used for you to get cover, but it's not really. It's just gonna kill you basically. The enemies can easily get up on you and just knock you to death, man. But yeah. The next area is up here, which people do use, but it's not so often. And like, you could look at this. You can just rope swing around, knocking people out, just jumping on them, and you can also just like shoot them from here. You can cover this area right here, and if the little explosive thing isn't well exploded, then you can shoot any if enemies that are right there and just explode a little just I'm just gonna call it a propane tank. But yeah, you can basically cover this ground right here and right there. Not only that, but you can actually use the bottom level to cover yourself just in case there's enemies, and you can also cover a little bit of more ground. But yeah, and like as I said, you can rope swing and other things, and you can also place that up there just in case enemies are coming. Well, not place that, but place grenade like and anything basically besides a grenade, because you can't place a grenade, sadly, unlike The Last of Us. Miss that game. But yeah, you can basically just cover a bit of area there. And as you can see, actually the little area that I was talking about, just like the other side, you go down here, but people they just don't see a use to it for some reason. I have no clue. I have no clue why. But it's actually a little bit darker over here, so you can barely see it. It's a little bit harder to see, unlike the other one. So, I guess that one would actually be a little bit more useful, since some enemies might not be able to see you, unless the other side you just have like. The next map is actually the map that's home to Tenzin, the village, and this will be the last map that we will be covering. And it's actually one of the areas is the area that you actually spawn in is this little room here. Now I can understand people do use it for certain game modes like Command and Bounty Hunter sometimes just to camp, but it's like it's rarely used, kind of. And you can also go into this area, which nobody uses sometimes. And yeah, this map won't actually be covering lots of hidden spots because it's really just a small map that lots of people use most of the spots. But the spot that nobody ever like I have never seen anybody use is these buildings. Not unless you go through them just to have cover. But the top of these buildings, they have so much area that you can cover. You can basically cover the entire map, unless like they're in the back right there or inside those buildings. But yeah, it basically covers the entire map. You can get enemies from anywhere. And if you're playing Command, this is perfect because you can just shoot the enemies down. It would be hilarious to see how many headshots you would get on them. But just make sure you don't die by that propane tank or the other propane tanks. And you can just cover most of the map. And that little slide right there. Little brick slide. But yeah, it's weird how nobody uses that area. It covers so much ground. Okay, the next area is actually going to be on the other side of the map. And this little bedroom area, it's nobody really uses either, but it's not really that important because it's kind of part of the building. But this is the next part of the map. It's this little building right here. It actually covers lots of ground for Command. And you can just go down here, see right here the rope swinging area, nobody really uses much. But right here, you can just cover a bit of ground for the other Command spot. And a little bit of that building right there. See? And but yeah. It just covers a lot of ground. Plus there's a couple of escape routes like there right where I'm at, if you're up here sniping, or down this little slidey hill right here, little rock hill, if the enemies are behind you. But yeah, you can cover a bit of ground from there. And yeah, the next area is actually this little building right here. You see this small little, okay, that small little area. See this? People don't use this at all. I understand why. It's empty. There's nothing to cover you with unless It's just empty. You're gonna die automatically. Unless you place like a little mine right here or something else, maybe you could survive. But it does cover some area for the command posts. But what you could do is, if you want to be a camper, you can just camp there until enemies are there. Because usually enemies don't show up on the right side. But you can just camp there and find ways to get the enemies. The next area is actually just a little area where you could swing and just shoot enemies off. And it's actually this little rope right here if you want to keep swinging around and you have good accuracy. You can just use basically any pistol or any sniper or any gun at all if you have the rope perk. You can just shoot enemies from there, and I don't, yeah, you cannot jump over it, sadly. Okay, can you go on this? No, you can't. But yeah, it's not sure anybody would really use it at all, but it's still useful. That little hay area nobody really uses because there's no point in it. You really would die just by going in there. But the next area is actually up here. Now I know what you're thinking. Everybody goes up there. Everybody. It's every single match somebody will go up there. And no, I'm not actually talking about the area. I'm talking about the exit area. If you don't know what I mean, and then I think you do, it's a little rock, little exit brick building right here. See, nobody uses this. And people always go from the right or the left side, even though they either fall and die because somebody shoots them down, or they just get stuck on something and then they fall and die because somebody shoots them down. And or it's just a mine or something else. But this is a good exit area, to be honest, because obviously what if enemies were closing in on you at all sides? And when I mean all besides that area. Well, you can just go down here, place a mine if you want, and enemies can't shoot you, basically. No enemies. Not unless that the building right here to your right and the building to your left all the way in the far end. And then you can, but also you can get some cover inside these buildings, and you can just go up here, probably get some more cover. Just watch out for the propane tanks again. And that's all for this video, guys. If you guys want to see more of these little tricks and areas that you can go to, just tell me in the comments down below. And as always, have an epic day.